Talk Studios is here today with Tony Eyl. How are you today? It's
Good,
the two
man.
Tonys.
Yeah.
I know, it's double the trouble.
Yeah, man, definitely double the trouble. Maybe double the swims.
Oh, let's not go ahead and say that. So Tony,
Nice.
you know, you're considered a local expert on these rivers, and many people trust you to be a guide. How does that make you feel?
Surprised.
Does
Humbled. Makes me surprised, makes me humbled, makes me grateful. It's fun. I love paddling. I love sharing paddling with people, and it's been such amazing experiences on the river, and the people that I get to be with is really, really cool. It's a combo deal. I love the physical activity of being in the flow and paddling, but then the people that I get to interact with and spend my time with and spend my days with and become friends with and learn with and grow with is really amazing.
That's awesome. I mean, I definitely can agree with you.
Yeah.
How have your experiences on the Telecove been? Because there's this like urban legend that you somehow know how to attain up Baby Falls.
Yeah. Well, I can't reveal all my secrets on film.
Okay.
Some you have to, like, I've only let film get leaked out as I come over the top of the lip. What I do below there, you have to be in person to see it.
Okay.
There are some naysayers out there, but they're, you know, negative people. You know, we don't let that kind of negativity into our lives. But you know, Baby Falls and Diaper Wiper as well.
Ooh, you can attain a diaper wiper.
I do have video of Diaper Wiper.
Oh.
I will let that video be leaked. But
interesting.
Baby Falls is, you got to be there.
So just so you guys know, Tony is now a legend, 100%.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But
well, let's see the legend in action today.
yeah, man, let's do it. It's gonna be fun.
So Tony, you've led a lot of trips in your time.
Yeah.
What would you say that the planning process is like for you when you're planning for a trip?
Well, are we talking day trip or longer trip? What are we talking?
Let's break it down. Let's do both.
Well, a day trip for me at this point, my planning process is look at the water level, throw my gear in the truck, and off I go. pretty much on autopilot. But generally speaking, I would say, you know, if you're starting out, you know, that planning process is obviously making sure your crew is there, that it's a crew you're safe with. So, but I've got, you know, guides that paddle, so it's literally one text, you know, two texts, we're done, and we've got it all planned out. But, you know, finding the right crew that you're safe to paddle with, that are a good fit for your paddle style, is pretty important. Because lots of people paddle different rivers, but they have different paddle styles. So being with a crew that fits your paddle style is important. Making sure the water level is safe and appropriate for you to be on that river if it's new, or if it's not new, if you know it. And making sure that you're with experienced people that can have your back as you have their back. And then, you know, obviously all the logistics of shuttle and all that fun stuff. But most of it revolves around checking water levels and getting the right crew to where your paddle style fits them. Because like if you guys are all in 12-foot longboats and doing a race lap and I'm in my slicey boat, not going to be a good fit. Or if you're a scouter and all of us aren't, that's not such a good fit for you. So those kind of things are important. And if you're doing longer trips, it just depends. Like there's a lot of logistics that go in, from shuttle logistics from point A to point B, food. You know, it's a lot like expedition or longer multi-day kayak self-support trips. Or it's basically like backpacking. So it's the same planning as long distance backpacking, which I have a really long background in. And so same food, same gear, same stuff, same mentality, except for I could carry more weight in my backpacks or my kayak, so I'm not as concerned about weight, although there's a little bit of consideration. It's more about volume, because lighter weight stuff, smaller volume. You know, and making sure you have the right food and fuel and all that to be able to do it. And again, same thing with crew, to make sure you know you're getting into who you're going with, that it's a good fit, personality and paddle style wise. You know, you'd be into that. So, and looking at guidebooks, so it just depends. You know, like our multi-day trips that we've done, we were fortunate to get invited with people who had done those rivers before, so they were friends of ours that we paddled with, and so they kind of were able to know most of the lines and have the beta and all that stuff for like Middle Fork and Salmon and Grand Canyon. Middle Fork Salmon's pretty much read and run, but Grand Canyon's got pretty big, pretty big stuff. So having someone who knows what they're doing, actually is a requirement from the Park Service to get a permit. You have to have an experienced guide who's been either on that river or a similar caliber river. They have a list of rivers that they allow as substitute rivers. So you have to have demonstrated you have experience in that. Somebody leading your trip has that kind of experience to lead a trip and not get y'all killed.
So main tip number one, don't die. Don't go with someone who's going to get you killed.
Yeah.
And make sure you have enough food so you don't die.
That's a good thing. And a water filter so you can
Actually drink water.
it's straight, you can sit around water all day, but if you can't filter it, you'll get pretty sick. So, but paddle crew is a big part of it in any kind of trip.
So I guess number 4, don't paddle with someone or go on a trip with someone who's going to get you killed.
Yes. Yeah. Or doesn't know what they're doing. Or somebody who leads by ego instead of by service is a big difference. That makes a big difference for sure. So. And then have fun.
Yeah. Have fun. Rule number 5. Tony, what was your first trip leading experience like?
That's a good question. So, well, I'm not 100% sure, but I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what the process was like. So, I volunteer a lot with Team River Runner Atlanta, which is it's the Atlanta chapter of Team River Runner. It's a nonprofit, nationwide nonprofit for veterans and active military to provide hope, healing, and health through paddle sports. And I was super fortunate to be, when I first started paddling, become friends with a guy who's an NSC instructor, a retired vet, and kind of heads up the teaching and technical aspects of Team River Runner Atlanta. And so he kind of took me under his wing, actually Mike and I both, and because Mike volunteers as well. So we spent a lot of time working with him and just kind of watching and observing and seeing how that was done, seeing how that whole process of keeping a group safe is set up. And as I think about it, actually our first trip that we led, I'm pretty sure I did it with Mike. We did a Team River Runner trip on the Ocoee, which is our local class 2. It was a river that Mike and I spent a ton of time on. So we knew every inch of it. And so it was a great format to try and learn and see what that was like to do it on our own. So I'd say the process really involved intentionally watching how other truly professional and capable people led trips, how they carried themselves, how they did the safety, how they technically ran the river. And then a big thing for me and all of my friends I paddle with is only leading on rivers that you know like the back of your hand. So I paddled the Ocoee for ages before I took anybody down, because I don't like to take anybody on a river that if I don't know every little curler of every single wave of every feature and what it's likely potentially going to do to you at different water levels, I don't like to take people down those rivers, because it's I think it's it's a pretty big responsibility that should be taken seriously. People are looking to you for guidance, wisdom, safety, education, and fun, right? And it's not fun if they're getting beat up, if they're having get the daylights beat out of them because you didn't give them beta, or you didn't set safety, or you didn't anticipate something. So going through that whole learning and mentoring process of how to do that safely and effectively, and it's still making it fun, was a big part of it.
Yeah. Well, with all the work that you've done with Team River, TRA, what would you, TRR, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Team River Runner Atlanta chapter. What would you say your proudest moment has been working with them?
Oh gosh, a lot. It's really hard. That's a hard.
I tell you, one of the most memorable things to me that stands out in my mind. I have a lot of great moments teaching a lot of different people how to roll, how to paddle, how to get on their first river experience. Never been in a kayak. Those things are all amazing. But I think one of the most impactful for me, we've got a participant and a friend of ours who's a member of Team River Runner Atlanta, Dennis. Dennis, if you're watching this, love you, brother. He is got a heart of a champion, but he's wheelchair bound. Mm-hmm. And the first time that we took him down the Ocoee River in his own kayak and kind of safety boating for him and support boating and all that was really inspiring. Just truly watching the joy on his face, watching the excitement, watching the fun, watching him surf. I'll never forget him surfing. You know, first time on a river and he's out there front surfing in a kayak and just hooting and hollering. And Dennis is a Vietnam veteran, so Dennis is not 18 anymore. You know, he's slightly older than 18, and but has so much fun. And that was super. It was very moving to see that and to be a part of that. I was honored. And we've taken Dennis down the Ocoee a couple of times now. It's just been remarkable doing that. And then I would say that, and then just working with the veterans that I get to work with has been really impactful. You know, like so growing up, like Memorial Day to me was just like, oh, let's go barbecue, let's go out to the lake, let's have a good time, maybe drink beer, whatever. It's a party, it's a day off, right? But we do a thing at Team River Runner every year where we do a memorial service on Memorial Day. It's led by veterans, and it has forever changed how I view Memorial Day. Like, it's hugely impactful. And so we do that event every year. We didn't do it because of COVID, but we did it again this year. And that event with a barbecue and music, and then paddling on the Ocoee, so moving. It's the best way to spend.
So Tony, as a trip lead, how did things change for you as a father when you took your son on a trip that you've led?
Oh, it's so fun. Paddling with my son is just awesome. So cool. You know, it's funny, and it's all because of COVID that he got into it, because I taught both of my kids how to roll. They both learned in like 15 minutes, which is ridiculous. And then my youngest, we took on 1 or 2 trips, but just decided too much anxiety. Like, nope, not for me. And then my oldest, my son Caleb, who paddles a lot, he taught him how to roll, took him on the Ocoee, again, our local Class 2 river. And, you know, he liked it all right, but he was still in high school, he was playing football, he was playing lacrosse, and so he's doing that. And then he hurt his shoulder playing football, and so he took a while off, like a year off. And then COVID hit, and he was doing online school, sitting at home bored, you know, no social interaction, and my work schedule is very flexible, so I was always like, hey man, I'm going paddling, you want to come? He'd be like, no. All right, have fun. And off I'd go. And so that went on for a little bit, and he kept seeing me go out having fun, and he was stuck at home bored. And so finally I asked him, hey, you want to come? He's like, yeah. I was like, awesome. So he came, and it's like the light just went off. Like, he just went crazy. And so I used to be able to say I taught him everything he knows. That lasted for about 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, probably more like 6 weeks. And he just took off. Like, he can do stuff that very few people can do in a kayak, in my opinion, that I've seen. He's just a natural athlete.
So you as a parent were like leading trips, you were never worried? Like, did that never change the dynamic for you?
So no, because a lot of it boils down to personality too. So my son Caleb's super capable athlete, super strong, great paddler, but he's also got a lot of wisdom for his age, and so he knows what's safe to do and what's not safe to do, and he doesn't let himself get talked into doing something he doesn't want to do, which is rare for his age. And he's not out there to prove anything to anybody, which is a good way to approach the river. And so no, I saw him approaching the river from a really intelligent,
Respectful point.
Yeah, it's a good answer. Very respectful and understanding, and you know, he could do way more than he does, but he intentionally makes sure you know, that he's stepping up as well as he wants. But he can paddle anything he darn well pleases. Like, it's ridiculous. But his biggest limitation is he's had shoulder surgery, and he doesn't want to get it. He's had a couple dislocations, and so, you know, he's not on as much Class 5 stuff because of that. And then also he's working a lot right now, and so he's gotten pretty busy. So I don't get on the river as much as I used to with him, which I miss. So Caleb, if you're watching this.
And if you're not watching this, like,
why?
Yeah, why?
No, he's super busy with work. He's dedicated and focused, which I have a lot of respect for, but do miss paddling. And I know he misses it too. So we used to get out 2 or 3 times a week together, and now it's maybe once a month.
Fair enough.
Something like that. So.
Well, speaking of Caleb actually paddled the Narrows before you.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so as a parent, was that like kind of defeating or just
I was frustrated because I was actually teaching a class that day that I had set up months in advance, and like I could not cancel it because I was the lead on it. And he's like, hey, I got invited, and so I was invited to go too, but I was like, I can't. I'm booked, and I have all these people signed up, like, I have to go do this. And no, I was thrilled for him. I was so excited. I was a little nervous, but I wasn't nervous because I knew he had the skill. He could paddle as far as he ever felt like it. He could paddle anything he wanted. So I wasn't nervous in that regard. But, you know, anytime somebody's on a Class 5 river,
it changes things.
Yeah, you know, the consequences go up. So I was glad when he called me, you know, when he got off the river. And that's kind of what he and I do, you know, if I'm on Class 5 or he's on Class 5, we make sure to check in. Because, you know, he knows what it's like, I know what it's like, and so we always make sure afterwards, like, hey, all good, you know, talk to you later, type of thing. But yeah, when he was on the Narrows and I wasn't, I was a little like, oh, I hope everything's okay, but more than that, what I was like, oh, I'm frustrated, I want to be there with them to share it, because that was a big part of it, was just being able to share all that together. It was super meaningful, and to not be there, I was excited for him, but a little bummed that I wasn't able to make it, but, you know.
And so was he there for your PFD?
No, he wasn't.
Oh my God.
He wasn't. So actually he and I have not paddled the Narrows yet together. Like, he's gone, I've gone, but schedule conflict. It's a good bit of a distance for us to get over there. And so when I've been there, he hadn't been there, and when he's been there, I haven't been there. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe one day we'll
hey, one day
paddle it together. It's been a while, so it is what it is.
So Tony, one of the rules that we talked about earlier today was, you know, finding a good crew. What are some of your like advices for finding that crew?
Yeah, so that just takes time and experience. You know, I think starting out on easier rivers, getting to know people, social media is a great outlet, because it used to be, you know, if you don't know a boater, it's hard to get started. I think a lot of people say bad stuff about boating clubs, club boater and all that, but you know what? If somebody wants to learn fundamentals and basics, that's typically a pretty good place to meet people. Sometimes club trips don't go out and do adventurous stuff, so it's about finding the people who paddle the way that you want to paddle. If you're happy doing Class 2 and that's all you want to do and just enjoy the afternoon, you don't want to get scared or you don't want to do big water, then, you know, there's more people. As you get into more difficult water, the community gets smaller and smaller. And so you just got to have time on the river with people to figure out who's a good fit for you. I don't think there's really any replacement for that. Getting to know people, know if you personality-wise jive, and paddle style-wise, right? Because you got the same paddle style, but, you know, if you're not into drinking beer all day, and they are, not going to be the funnest day for you. And you may have some safety issues there, so you know, you really just got to spend time. It's really just kind of touch and go, feeling different people out as friends, getting on the river with them, seeing how those experiences go, on both sides of the coin. You know, if they're super experienced boaters, you know, running harder stuff, you may not be able to get with them on everything. So ideally, is you're starting, you want to be with a crew that's more experienced than you. You want to surround yourself with people that paddle what you want to do and what you want to become. And that's pretty true in life. You become who you hang out with in a lot of ways. And so that's true in life, that's true in business. If you want to excel in anything in life, surround yourself around people who are working in the same direction, and they'll help you get there. You know, it's kind of like, there's an old saying, like, if you hang around 5 idiots, pretty soon you're going to find yourself to be the 6th, right? And so if you surround yourself with quality people that are paddling literally in the direction of rivers you want to go at, they're going to help carry you along. You're going to teach, you're going to learn as they teach, and you're going to learn a lot just by observing and seeing how they paddle and seeing how they handle approach rivers and set safety. There's a lot of learning that gets done that way informally. And you know, another avenue if somebody's trying to find a crew is get involved with a paddle school. Ace Kayaking here on the Ocoee, NOC, any of those things, H2O Dreams up in Saluda. They have a network of people that they paddle with that can help get you connected with. There's another great way to learn skills and meet other people and kind of get into the community. The one good thing is the paddling community is super inviting, super welcoming, love to have a good time, and most paddlers love to share what they know and paddle stuff with new paddlers. And so it's typically not super hard, but you do need to find those people that are a good fit for you. That just takes time, and you know, sometimes it's luck of the draw.
What happens when you find somebody that doesn't necessarily mesh with your crew and they've latched themselves on necessarily? How do you as a trip lead handle that situation?
So if I'm leading an actual trip, like let's say if I'm leading like a Team River Runner or a Georgia Canoe Association trip, we have certain things, like I don't care who you are, what your paddle style is, like there's some things that we allow and some things we don't. If you're sitting around smoking pot in the eddy, yeah, I'm not gonna be paddling with you, right? It's just not a safe environment. If you're sitting around getting drunk before you go put on the river, you know, you're not gonna be putting on the trip with us. So in a group setting like that, a formal group setting, there's some control over who gets to go and who doesn't get to go, within reason. Obviously, if there's safety issues or behavior issues, either how they carry themselves, speak to others, treat them, whatever, you know, those are matters. If it's informally with friends, it's pretty easy. You get to invite who you want to invite, and they get to invite who they want to invite. And if you don't get invited, you just kind of don't get invited. You know? There's a crew for everybody. You know, there's a style for everybody, and I know a lot of fabulous paddles. Their style's different than mine. Not better, not worse. Well, actually, some are better. But you know, it's just different, right? Yeah. And so it's just about finding, like in life, it's about finding people who fit with how you want to live life and how you approach the river, and kind of share your vision and your joy. To make it a super positive experience for you, whatever that is.
So Tony, as you hold that, I have to ask you, has there ever been a trip that you've just had to call off?
We've had ones that, like, due to water level, were too high for the experience people, for the level of experience that we were bringing. Like official trips, but
you know, one thing I'll also add is, like, you were asking, like, oh, how do you go about finding your crew? I think another question to ask would be, how do you go about finding your best friends in life? Because, like, Mike, I paddle with him so much, like my crew, my core crew have literally become my best friends. Like I spend my life with them. They know everything about me, all parts of my life, on and off the water.
Yeah, that's definitely how me and Jerry are. I think I paid Jerry to be my friend pretty much at this point.
We actually, not to cut you through your interview, we met and he was like, if I buy you dinner, will you hang out with me?
I said that. I was like, hey man, let's hang out. I'll buy you dinner, pretty much. Or like, hey.
It was like love at first sight.
Yeah, I basically, I essentially took Jerry out on a date.
We went to a nice fancy like sushi restaurant. Yeah. It was like $500 a wine bottle.
There you go. You know, hey,
Did he open the door for you? That's what I want to know, Jared. Did he open the door for you and all of that?
I think I was a bad date. Yeah.
I could have laughed. Take it off again.
Oh, geez. I've never seen that happen before. That's definitely not as long as I thought. Day out here with Tony Eyl.
It's great.
It definitely was double the trouble with the T-Tony, so.
Yeah, it was.
Good time, good
Almost
fun.
broke your camera.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be okay.
Hopefully not.
I'll just buy a GoPro subscription and then tell them this happened, you know, after the subscription.
Hey, I know what you can do. There's a guy, Hunter White. Ask Hunter White, hey Hunter, how do I get a replacement camera? What do I do? Hunter, get with Anthony, hook him up.
Yeah. So I do need to address a very serious allegation about you, Tony.
Oh, Lord.
So, I know you're trip lead and all, but, you know, there's a rumor that you left somebody out on the river one time. Their name was Charlie Chunder.
Charlie Chunder. Yeah, no, Charlie's safe. He was never, Charlie Chunder's never been left out on the river. Leave no man behind. He's in my car right now.
Okay. He hasn't been seen in a while.
He hasn't. He's kind of camera shy. He's kind of camera shy, but you know, he makes his rounds with the people who know him. He hangs out, you know, but he's pretty shy. He's a pretty shy bird, but he's great. He never swims. He's
Never
got
swims.
Solid roll.
Yeah, he's got
Solid
a really good highlight reel. So.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I've got a few more that I haven't published. I got to get his permission to publish them, but you know, he's solid, dude. He's pretty fun.
Well, all right, everybody, keep an eye out for Tony Eyl and hopefully some Charlie Chunder content at some point.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see.
Well, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, dude. It's good. Good day. Awesome.